Hey guys, so in this video we are going to talk a little bit about my coding test videos and just some stuff that I think needs to be said here. So let's get into it. So I was just kind of walking through the comments and there was, this is not an uncommon comment where I have somebody who will tell me that, oh, so just because you don't use fetch or because you write this way instead of that way, you're going to dismiss somebody or you're going to deny them a job or yada 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 yada, and they talk about things in what I like to call very extremes. And I want to touch on something for everybody out there because I think that this is important for you to know. Guys, the big secret is that every single job interview is unfair. Every single one of them, all of them, every single test that you have ever taken from kindergarten all the way up until today are unfair, biased tests that are evaluated by another person, and they will use their personal experiences to gauge your skills or your aptitude, or whatever you want to call it. There is no such thing as an unbiased test because it is evaluated by human beings, and human beings are fallible. They use their personal experiences to determine things. There is no such thing as an unbiased test. Now, what I want to touch on here is that there seems to be this kind of illusion that, all right, when I make an evaluation or when anybody makes an evaluation, that if you use one thing over another, that means that, hey, you're going to fail because you did that thing instead of that thing. That's not so. It's about creating a holistic understanding of the candidate in question. In other words, where do you draw the line? If you are telling me that you would, just think about it yourself. Do you really think that when I make a video and I talk about, all right, when I see this, I think that or that and so forth, that I'm going to dismiss a person for a position because they used a for each instead of a for loop or vice versa? Do you really think that anybody would make that sort of call? That, oh yeah, you used a variable instead of a const. That's, oh yeah, shit, you're out the door for that step up. There's no one who's going to do that. But what I'm trying to tell you with these sorts of videos is that yes, they are opinionated. These are things that I would consider myself, and I have considered when I have interviewed other people. And it's the sort of thing that I try to show you in order for you to understand the mindset of the person who is interviewing you. Because what you have to understand is that your employer doesn't care about you at the interview stage. You are just one person in a range of other people. They are trying to figure out which of the candidates they have in the pipeline is going to be the best fit for their company. And in order for them to do that, they are going to go on completely unjust, unfair stuff that you will have no impact on whatsoever. So going on about how something is opinionated or how something is this or that is bullshit, guys. It's completely pointless bullshit. You're just wasting your time. You can be as frustrated as you want. You're still not going to get the job. Doesn't matter if you think that it's unfair or unbiased. At the end of the day, you are applying to a job that is being provided by another person. That person will want somebody who reflects their value system or somebody who they perceive to be a good fit for that company. Now, when you look at one of my videos, you have to remember that, these are just my own personal opinions and my thoughts on how to conduct an interview and things that I think are relevant when you're interviewing a candidate. But it's about a holistic mindset. It's not about pass-fail on every single little thing. It's about trying to figure out get a feel for the person in question, because you can go with, generally there's two tests that you can conduct. Either you have computer science, like algorithm based problems that you solve, and even those are going to be opinionated, because if you trust me when I say this, if you give a code test to a person which is just implement the FizzBuzz algorithm, what is that going to tell you as a company? Absolute fuck all. It's going to tell you absolutely nothing. It's going to tell you that the person in question can solve a simple little algorithm, that they have the coding skills that are necessary to write a FizzBuzz algorithm. What does that help you with? well, maybe that's perfect for you. I've been in interviews where this has been the code test, and that has usually been for massive consultancies. And the reason why they have these simple bullshit tests is because their standards for coding skills is extremely low, because they are the sort of organization who is simply renting out hours. They don't care about quality. In comparison to other companies, in my experience, they don't care all that much about the quality of the software developer itself. The software developer, they care about coding skills, that you can actually produce these results. And they will tell you otherwise, of course, but then again, I would like to just challenge anybody who is in the industry to tell me that the sort of, like, just bear with me. I don't have anything against consultancies and so forth. They're like nothing at all. I'm just stating that the screening process on average for a consultancy versus a product company or something like Google and so forth usually is a little bit looser. So what I want you to remember when we are talking about these like coding tests and so forth is that they are unfair. And there's no way for you, this is also why I keep telling the juniors that you can't take it too personally if you are dismissed for a position. Because it's not just about you, it's about the values of the company itself. I have been dismissed at companies because for various reasons. And I've been hired at other companies for other reasons. And that's kind of what I'm saying to you. There is no fair evaluation system. It doesn't exist whatsoever, and that's why it's important, equally important, I would say, for you to have the social skills to do well in the interview, and it's also important for you to have the coding skills to actually communicate your code, that you know what your stuff. But the sad part is that you have no idea what standards you're facing off against. You don't know. I mean, you can come to a company where they don't care at all how good your coding skills are. They have like this basic bullshit test that you can just manage, and that's great. Maybe that's exactly what you want. Hopefully that coding skill test is going to reflect the sort of job that you then have in the company, because it would be really tricky for you if it turns out that you're a junior developer and they are looking for a super senior professional programmer with a lot of skill, and their coding test and their testing strategy is so basic and so bullshit that they basically just let you in, and then when you get in, you will get fired after a few months because the coding test did not reflect the sort of skill requirements that they have in the company. Because, guys, a FISPAS algorithm or a single algorithm does not reflect your total skills as a software developer. It does not. And then on the flip side, what happens then if you want to go for quality and you don't want just a basic understanding of if somebody knows how to code? Then you're getting into the sort of realm that I make videos about, where I actually test you from all angles. I actually have a look at all the things that I think are relevant in a daily job. And that's also going to be opinionated. And it's going to be opinionated because the toolings and like the different experiences that you have, they will differ. But I want you to take away something from this little rant of mine. And that is that if you ever thought that, oh, I used object assign instead of the spread operator in JavaScript, for example, oh, I'm going to get dismissed for that. Of course not. Of course not. You have to understand that the biased, opinionated people who make a review of your code test when you're applying for a job, these are usually people who have some type of experience. They are looking for certain things. You don't know what those things are. That's why I keep on saying this. It's not about being smart, guys. It's not about trying to produce software that is genius or something like that. It's about producing software that shows to the person reading that you have worked before, or that you are the sort of person who understands good software design. I'll give you a great example. A great tell that we actually dismissed somebody based on was that, all right, there was a lot of issues and small things here and there in the code test. And it wasn't like we were kind of unsure, because there was all these kind of odd things that stood out that it's kind of indicated that the person didn't have much in terms of experience. And the nail in the coffin was that the transfer protocol, they were making an API basically. They were they were sending the files, the files back and forth in this code test as YAML files instead of JSON files. Why is that a big problem? Well, because anybody who's been working in the industry for any amount of time will know that XML and JSON are the standard protocols for transferring data over a network. Using a YAML file is very commonly, almost exclusively used as a configuration file. You may think that that's a silly thing to dismiss somebody based on, but this is what I'm saying. This is what's happening, because you are not the only person in the pipe. If I have two candidates to pick between, and one person is perfectly coding in the way that I value, and the other person is coding in some weird way that nobody at the company kind of can get behind, you're going to get dismissed. And you can be as angry as you want. It's not going to make a difference. Not a lick of difference. So what I'm trying to tell you here, guys, instead of getting defensive over that somebody who's showing you different things that people think about when they are doing a code review of somebody's code test for a job, instead of getting upset that somebody's being opinionated, try to understand why this is the way it is, and not think about it so much as a pass-fail type of situation, because it's just going to help you be able to produce this or get the sort of mindset that is required in order to get a job doing software development. Because trust me when I say this, people do not hire people based on just objective facts. They hire people on gut feeling. And it is unfair. I'm sorry. I have gone through the same process 100 times over. And you're going to have to do the same thing. Trust me. There are no unopinionated coding test. That's why it's so important to understand the mindset of the industry and what good practices are in coding, as opposed of trying to either get defensive and just try to dismiss things that make you have to face the possibility that you may have some growing left to do, or try to get overly clever and impress people with your awesome software. It's just a thought, guys, because trust me when I say this, every single coding test is opinionated. Every single job interview you're going to go to is unfair. So you can either deal with that and try your best, or maybe you should look for another profession. Have a great day.